I'm Tom Varner and welcome to Adventures in TV Land. For today's adventure, I've come just to see an historical marker. It's the site where the only cabin that U.S. Grant built by his own hands originally stood. So let's go check it out. Now I am right now in St. Paul's Churchyard Cemetery in Webster Groves, Missouri. Now this land was once owned by Mr. Dent, who was the father-in-law of Ulysses S. Grant. And after U.S. Grant married Mr. Dent's daughter, Julia, this land all became part and was given to U.S. Grant as a wedding gift. So all of this land here that I am on now, which is part of this churchyard, was at one time connected, and it was a part of land where the now U.S. Grant Historic Site sits, and where Grant's farm is as well. This was a huge, sprawling estate, really, at one time. Now, Grant's farm and the U.S. Grant National Historic Site are located about a half a mile away from where this historic marker is located, marking where Grant's cabin, Hardscrabble, once stood. And here it is, the historical marker put up by the Webster Groves chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution that shows where Ulysses S. Grant cabin, Hardscrabble, which he built himself, originally stood. And it reads in part, "This tablet marks the original site of Hardscrabble log cabin home built by Ulysses S. Grant in 1854. Now, finding the location of this historical marker is a bit difficult. There's this road that goes by right here. This is Rockwood Road. It goes up, and up there, just around the bend right there, is the entrance to the Churchyard Cemetery. Now, there was one little parking space. I'm assuming it was a parking space because it's what I parked in just around the bend from the entryway there. Or there's a road you can follow around here, and the road actually the pathway in the cemetery actually ends right over there by those monuments there. So you could park there and you wouldn't have as far a walk to walk. And just to kind of put things in perspective a little bit, there is the marker and there is the road, and you can see the cars going by there. Now it's a little hard to see, but where these four metal posts are is actually where the cabin directly stood. So right there was one corner, right here was another corner, over here was another corner, and there was the last corner of Grant's cabin that he called Hardscrabble. Now the cabin stood on this spot, I believe, until the 1904 World's Fair. Then it was moved to what is the area around by Forest Park now. And I believe during the World's Fair it was on display, but it was used kind of as a coffee shop. Coffee was sold out of it, I believe. But it was kind of destroyed in the process because people came and they were pulling away parts of the cabin when they came to visit the World's Fair. It was eventually moved again and now stands on land that is part of Grant's farm. The only way you can see Hardscrabble now is to take a tour of Grant's farm. You can see it on the tram as you're riding from the entryway into where the animals and things are in Grant's farm. They point it out on the tram ride. It's on the right-hand side. You can also take a more, which I have not done ever, but take a more in-depth tour of the farm property and actually get up and close to the cabin and see it that way. Those tours are somewhat expensive. I would like to take one someday, but at this point in time, I have not been able to do so, and I have not been able to find people who would be willing to chip in to take the tour too. It's several hundred dollars to do that. So, but you can see it. You can see the cabin on the tram ride. It's fairly early. Once you go around, there's a curve you go around after leaving Mirror Lake, I believe it is. And you go around and the cabin will be right there on the right-hand side. Hardscrabble. Now, a bunch of the side streets here on Rockwood Road, they're all named, are associated to things named with Grant. There's like Grant's Road, you know, I can't think of any others right off the top of my beat, but they're all, the side streets are all named in things either after Grant or associated with him. But this one here in particular, which is across the entryway to St. Paul's Churchyard Cemetery, that's of a particular note and interest. And it's this one, Grant's Log Cabin Lane. Now Grant's Log Cabin Lane, right over there, as you can see, is the entryway to St. Paul's Churchyard, which is the place and where the property of where the historic marker is sits. Well, this has been another adventure in TV land where we visited the historic site of the first location of Hardscrabble, the log cabin built by U.S. Grant, President and General U.S. Grant. At the time he built the cabin, he was neither a general nor a president. The Civil War had not even started. He was just trying to make a life for himself here in the St. Louis area with his wife and his family. He built the cabin by himself, by his own hands. If you've enjoyed this adventure in TV land, hit that like button. If you didn't like, hit the dislike button. Subscribe to my channel for further content and ring that bell for email notifications. And if there's some place that you would like to see me visit or you have a suggestion about a future video, leave a comment in the comment section. And if you've enjoyed this adventure, or any of the adventures in TV land, you can now support the channel by going to Buy Me a Coffee and making a donation there. For as low as just $1, you can give a one-time monetary donation to help support the further and future adventures in TV land. Or you can go one step further, and for as low as just $3 a month, you can become a supporter, a member of Adventures in TV Land. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, that's a wrap.